And my three guests here are all from the Billy Fury fan club. Is that the Colin Paul, the leader, the head man? Welcome to the show, Colin.
Thanks for having us on. How are you, my friend?
Good to have you here. I'm not too bad. And your two friends with you are?
Neil and Andy.
You're back at the Lana Hotel?
We are, yeah. For our second run. And this one's absolutely sold out, which is great to see people back out again, you know.
Oh, it is. It's great to know that, you know, the name Billy Fury still pulls everybody.
Well, he is. I mean, we do another Billy Fury weekend in Blackpool in November, and that's sold out already as well. So, you know, Billy's pulling the people back in again, which is great.
So how long have you been involved in, Colin?
I started off 40 years ago, and I was always a massive Elvis fan. It was really through Elvis that I got into Billy, you know, and obviously that famous picture of him and Billy together on the set of the movie Girls, 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 and there's two good-looking guys there. I'm thinking, well, who's this other guy? And then when I found out that he came from 30 miles from where I lived, you know, the interest was there, and I wanted to know more about this guy, and I'm so glad I did. Because
every time I see that picture, I always say to myself, I wish I had a suit like that.
Two great guys in two great suits.
So how long have you been running these conventions? You know, it's a long time.
It is a long time. I mean, we do this one in with a company called Yesterday Once More, which are based in Bristol, and I do a lot of work for these guys, headed by a guy called Kelvin Ford. And we've been running the Billy Fury weekends together now for about 14 years, and we also run a Billy Fury weekend in Blackpool with Blackpool Holidays, run by a lady called Diane Wardle, and that's been going 30 years.
Wow. And what's your connection, Andy?
I'm here through Neil, really, because I used to do DJing with him with the Elvis fan club, and he said to me, do you want to come and give me a hand with the Billy Fury weekend? And I wasn't very up on Billy Fury at the time, and I said, I'll come and give it a go, and it's progressed from there, really, now, you know, sort of. So
you play the records in between, do you?
Yeah, I help Neil with the disco, and also like sort of set up the sound system for our part of it, then plug into Colin, and it all goes like that.
And do you find that sometimes it really is difference each year between the songs they ask for of Billy's?
Yeah, it's quite interesting with some of the songs that they do ask for, you know, like sort of thing. And sometimes you have to search for them because you haven't played them for quite some time, you know. But we do manage to find tracks if they do ask for them, and it's just great to see people out there on the dance floor enjoying themselves.
And it just proves that they are actually Billy Fury fans, because they're asking for these, what they'd call obscure songs. We obviously know them. And,
what about you, Andy? You're a bouncer?
What?
That's Neil.
Neil's son.
I bouncer. Something like that. I DJ and compare it. So basically I've been calling on and, introduce the bands and that sort of thing. But also, I've been a Billy Fury fan really since I was a kid. Little. Same thing with Colin. And I met Colin around about 1992. And he'd been trying to get me to do the Billy Fury discos with him for a while, and I just wasn't able to do it because of conflicting shows and things like that. And, of course, as soon as I did the first one for him about 20 years ago, that was it. I was sort of hooked on, not just because I love Billy, but I love playing Billy's music to an audience. And I've made so many great friends over the years, and they've become family, really. But that's what Billy's music does. It brings people together. And, it's just great when you play something like... for our anthems, there's 3 songs I always like to put together, and we get such a fantastic atmosphere. We bring everybody up onto the dance floor. They're all over hands in the air, and of course the first one's Halfway to Paradise. Yeah. When we play Forget Him, and then it's Only Make Believe. All 3 songs are linked together, and also we've got video screens, so you can actually see Billy in the room. So we've got the music playing, Billy singing, and of course the fans just love it, and it's like, that is just the best part of any Billy Fury show for me.
And part of what Colin's been doing is searching out these lost bits of Billy Fury songs and Billy Fury television, because he appeared a lot on television, and you've been doing a really lot of hard work trying to find these clips.
I have, yeah. I've been searching for the best possible quality. I found quite a bit, and I've opened up a YouTube channel called the Billy Fury channel, so it's easy for anybody to find, and I've re-edited a lot of the videos and made them look and sound the best that they possibly can, yeah.
Okay, well, let's have a bit of Colin singing a Billy Fury song, and it's one I played last week, actually, by the man himself, because Jay and the Americans are one of my all-time favourite bands, and this is a great version of one of their songs from Billy Fury.
And when I told her I didn't love her anymore, she cried kissed her, a kiss that only meant goodbye. She cried. Told her I didn't love her anymore. She cried. She cried. And when I told her her kisses were not like before, she cried. She cried. She cried. She cried.
There we are. Colin Paul there with a great version there of the Billy Fiore Jane the American song, She Cried. It must be good for you when you decide, and it's not easy when you say to yourself, I've got to add a new song to the act. It must feel great going on stage and doing it for the first time.
It is great with such a great song, especially a song like She Cried and things like that, because as you know, Billy was so good at the power ballads. I think, last night when I did my show, I'm Lost Without You just was a standout song for me.
Also, though, Colin, you are a traitor because you're also Elvis Presley, aren't you?
Oh, thank you very much.
Because you go to Graceland nearly every year, don't you?
Yeah, I go in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, I'm out there for nearly 3 weeks, and I've got several shows lined up at Graceland, and it's great. It's great fun to do. I'm very honoured and very privileged, and keep my feet firmly on the ground and just enjoy. Myself and the family go out, and we love it.
And you say you enjoy it, but it must be nerve shredding because you're surrounded by Elvises.
Oh, yeah.
And,
that's another story.
We've got Elvis Presley Savile Row suits, and we've got Elvis Presley pound shop suits, haven't we?
There's Elvis Presley everything, mate. And like I said, that's another story. We won't go there. But, it's a great experience nonetheless, And of course, the great thing about this new Elvis movie that's out as well, that's created a new stir. The facts might not be, the timeline might not be accurate, but it doesn't matter. The movie's done what it's set out to do, and that's to bring new people in and
well, you've got one there.
Leslie.
She was never a Presley fan. She is now.
There you go. She's done his job. Well done, Leslie.
I saw the movie, and I love his music. Don't get me wrong, but then when I saw the movie, I was like, oh my god, I love him.
Yeah, absolutely good.
And what he'd been through, and
absolutely, yeah.
And what do you think of Tom Hanks' portrayal?
I thought it was very good.
So did I.
Very creepy, but very good.
Yeah.
Just managing to keep that accent off for 2.5 hours. Yeah, I enjoyed it immensely, but I found that they glossed over the early part of his career and made it look too easy.
Yeah,
and there's a lot more struggling in the early days than it showed you on the...
Absolutely, yeah, there is. And, the guy lived for 42 years, which is a very short life in comparison, but he crammed so much into that short life, and you'd have to make a movie that lasts 42 years to get everything in, wouldn't you? So.
And I must admit, over the last couple of weeks, I've been playing Unchained Melody.
Have you really?
Because I'd never heard him do that.
Right. Okay.
But, you can't touch the Righteous Brothers, but God, he gets close to it.
Yeah, it's very good, yeah. And that was just 6 weeks before he passed away, Amazing. His voice, great voice to the end.
I think I always liked Elvis Presley, but I became a fan when I realised how good his voice was. Yeah. He was a hell of a singer.
Yeah, well, that's what it was for me, his voice. Obviously, you understand what it is for the girls and everything, but for me, that voice, there's so, like we said before, there's so many great, or so many Elvis impersonators out there, or ETAs, whatever they call themselves, but none of them come close, in my opinion, none of them. Not even myself, I appreciate what Elvis did, and I thank Elvis every day for the career that I've got. Yeah. And that goes the same for Billy, because nobody can touch Billy, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so let's see what's happening at the line. I know it's sold out, but just to annoy people who are not going, what's happening?
Well, those that aren't going, they can always book again next year, which we can put the details out on my Facebook page. It starts on the 14th of July next year, so they can book through yesterdayoncemore.co.uk. Last night I did a solo spot in full tribute to Billy, and then we had a band on called Tony Graham and the Alligators. These guys did the Billy Fury video disco. Tonight we've got a guy on before myself and the band called Rockin' Pagan. He's going to do a rock and roll set of the 50s, and then myself and the Persuaders are going to do another Billy Fury show and friends. So you're talking like Billy's friends like Joe Brown, Marty Wilde, Eddie Cochran, and things like that. So it's everybody's looking forward to it. Everybody's in a great mood. They're great that the sun's shining. They're great that they're out after the pandemic, and everybody's having a great time. I've got lots of friends there as well, which is a bonus.
Okay, well, we'll play one more. And what is the one? It was track 2, was it?
Yeah, this is a song that was written for me recently by a good friend of mine, Mr. Jeff Taggart, and the lovely Tony West. And they've written this song for me with a bit of a Billy Fury piano feel. It's called The Losing Game.
Okay, and thank you, 3 of you, for popping in.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God willing, we'll do it again next year.
Let's do it.
Thinking back now on my life and all the choices I have made. Some were good, some were bad, but there's one I'd surely change. I let you walk away from me. I was too young to settle down. You found love with someone else. It turned my world around. Cause it's a losing game I play, and it happens every day, no matter how I try. Though I try to tell you so, you don't seem to want to know, yet I can't tell you goodbye. You belong to someone new, you will always be with you. Though I know that this is so, I just cannot let you go. So I cry and call your name, I'll dream on just the same, and play the losing game. If I'd only known back then, there would be no second chance to say how much I really loved you, but I didn't realize you were looking for commitment, something I just couldn't get. Now I go to sleep each night with tears in my eyes. Cause it's a losing game I play, and it happens every day, no matter how I try. Though I try to tell you so, you don't seem to want to know, yet I can't tell you goodbye. You belong to someone new, who will always be with you. Though I know that this is so, I just cannot let you go. So I cry and call your name, and dream on just the same, and play the losing game. So I cry and call your name, and dream on just the same, and play the losing game.
Well, Colin, I think Billy Fury would have liked that song.
So do I, absolutely, yeah. I love it. It's got a great Billy Fury feel to it, especially on the piano, you know.
Yeah, excellent. Great production as well.
Thanks, thank you. There you go, Jeff.
Okay, do you want to say hello to a few people?
Yeah, I want to say hello to Jeff Taggart and obviously Tony West. I want to say to my lovely wife, Sarah Lee, and my kids, Grace and Jack, Martin and Stuart, and let's say hello to Steve and Nikki and a good friend of mine, Neil Lancaster. Thanks for tuning in, and everybody else who's tuned in this morning.
Yes, hello to you, Neil, a rival Elvis.
You know Neil, yeah. I had a coffee with Neil yesterday, great bloke, yeah.
A good lad.
You got no friends, boys?
None at all. No. We just hang on to him. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah. I'll just say hello to the kids, James and Isabel.
Yeah. I'll say hello to Sarah as well. I've got Sarah at home as well.
And the big convention's at the Liver Hotel here in the city centre. And I know there won't be any scouts trying to bunk in because we don't do things like that.